And it's expensive to live there. So
Yeah.
what ended up happening was I lived in my car for 2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
What was that like?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Welcome to the Coles Ventures Podcast.
Ready to get rolling?
Ready?
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for taking some time and talking with me today. We usually just start out, if you just want to introduce yourself and tell people what the helmet is, what cool stuff you're working on. That'd be a great place to start. Yeah. Oh, and also, if you can have the mic just like real close to you.
Okay.
That'd be money. Just perfect.
Good right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Brian Garvey, the CEO and founder of VATA7. And yeah, you know, I grew up here in the Spokane area for the most part. I was born in Colville, and my parents grew up in Sandpoint. And my dad was in the Navy, so we, you know, traveled the West Coast quite a bit to different submarine bases. But every 4 years he had shore duty, so we always found our way back here to Spokane.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I went to, you know, the Cheney School District as a little kid for quite a few years, and then became Meade High School for 4 years, and yeah, and then after high school went in the Navy.
Awesome. Thank you for your
Frogman.
service.
Well, thank you very much. And you know, jumped out of helicopters, rescue swimmer, you know, all that stuff.
That's wild. Yeah. So you say you're a frogman.
Yeah.
Can you define that for people that might not know?
Yeah. You ever see the movie The Guardian with Ashton Kutcher, Kevin Costner? Yeah. It's basically a rescue swimmer. I had another kind of a top secret job in the helicopter, but when there was a rescue, I was in my wetsuit.
Okay.
And I'd jump out of helicopters into the ocean.
Yeah.
And, you know, so if there's pilots or air crew or somebody in the ocean, we, you know, hook them up to some D-rings and hoist them up in the helicopter. So
okay, that's sweet.
Yeah,
that's
a lot of fun. And then, you know, out of the Navy, just, you know, came back up here to Spokane and started a family. I really got into wanting to become in the electrical engineering field. So working with architects in the area, I was really young, and architects wanted, you know, better lighting than just fluorescent 2x4s, right?
Yeah.
And so I started studying lighting and became really good at international award-winning architectural lighting designer. And I co-started Essent Lighting, was a showroom over here across from Boo Radley's and Riverfront Park. And I did architectural lighting for projects like the Cheney Coles Museum. The Spokane Convention Center, a lot of the new buildings on the GU campus, Gonzaga campus, EWU, WSU, UFI, and U.S. embassies all over the world.
Yeah.
A couple of my favorite projects, just real quick, because I'm sure you guys all relate. Twigs North, you know, those guys gave me the reins to just do whatever.
Just go crazy.
Yeah.
Do you like those projects best, or do you want a little bit of kind of what people want?
No, I like the projects where I can come in, work with the architect and just create the form and the function, you know, the space, and just make it beautiful, and just kind of like it. You don't really notice the lighting, but the architecture becomes the light. Yeah. And then probably one of my very favorite projects is I worked with Mac McCandless, who is a campus architect at GU at Gonzaga. Okay. And he, we had a really difficult project. It's the student chapel there up on the 4th floor. Yeah. And they brought in some stained glass windows, I believe, from Philadelphia, or, you know, somewhere over there. And the lighting was a challenge, but man, if you ever get a chance to go into the student chapel there at GU, it's magic. Yeah. Yeah. So then, so that's kind of the story behind all that. Went through kind of a rough spill, my parents passing away and stuff, and ended up back down in San Diego, and I did a Bravo TV show pilot kind of a thing. Nice. And one weekend, I went up to North LA to pick up a cafe racer from my buddy, Dustin Cott. Right?
Those are sweet.
Yeah,
those are cool.
Just a 800cc engine with on a frame with 2 tires and you know, handlebars. So, and on my way home, it was getting dark, and about 30 minutes in, I see a car on the side of the road, and I see a mom and 3 kids sitting up on the hill above the car, and I see they have a flat tire, so I pull over, and I'm in the trunk pulling out spare tire stuff, and I heard this huge commotion. And so I pulled out of the trunk, and this motorcycle just is sliding right by me within a few feet.
Oh my gosh.
Sparks flying everywhere, screeching. I mean, a noise I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the rider anywhere, but I could see 4 lanes of headlights coming. So I went out into the freeway, waving my arms. I'm looking for the rider. And finally I noticed him. He's 4 lanes from his motorcycle, all dressed in black.
Yeah.
Just near invisible. And so anyway, paramedics, fire people come, get him situated. Fire guys help me with the spare tire. I'm back on the road. So I got a few more hours to San Diego. And all I could think about was my tail light is only this big, on that Cafe Racer. And I knew that I was probably near invisible on that motorcycle. And the next morning, through a dream, the whole VATA7 concept was born.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I got out my garage, sketched out, helmet, jacket, backpack, boots, all this stuff with LED lighting and stuff, with my background with, LEDs.
Right, yeah.
And, and that's kind of how VATA7 was born.
Wow. So was there ever a point when you were, pre this idea and stuff where you were like, I really want to be an entrepreneur, I want to start my own company. Was that ever in your vision, or was this you saw something, a need, and more filled that?
Even when I was in high school at Meade, when I was a junior, I used graphic art class. We had a project where I had to do some silk screening, and I did this silk screening. It had Meade, you've seen the pennants, the schools do.
Yeah.
So I create this silk screening. My mom takes me to Joann Fabrics. I get a bunch of those yellow felt, a bunch of dowels. We cut them, me and my friends were cutting them down in my garage and taking them to school. We're silk screening these, and we're selling them at the football games.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Just, kind of a risky business kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then, also my junior year, I came up with the idea for an electronic book that was waterproof, and it had a speed control, how fast you read, had a highlighter button you could highlight. And basically, if you remember the old Hewlett-Packard calculators, they had like a clip that kind of covered the battery.
Yeah.
It would be a chip that would be on the back of these. And then if you want to read a book, it would almost be like a DVD case, but this was way before DVDs came out. Yeah. And you open up the case, get the cover, put it in, and you had an electronic book. And I went around to some of the, first of all, my really good friend from high school, his dad worked in the legal system, and he had a friend that did patent searches.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we found that there were no patents for anything like this.
Yeah.
So I went around to like Itron and Keytronic and stuff, and everybody kept saying, no, it can't be done, you're ahead of your time. And so then, I went in the Navy and everything, and started a family, and then found out that the Nook came out, Barnes and Noble.
I forgot about that.
Right.
Whatever happened to that?
I'm not sure what happened to that project.
Amazon fire.
Yeah.
Probably destroyed them.
But it was at that moment that I said, never again will I hear the word no, it can't be done.
Yeah, you're too early.
Right.
Yeah, which sometimes you are. But if you think about it and you're like, okay, eventually, this probably will happen. Then.
I tell people, if you can envision it, we can build it.
Yeah.
There's ways. That's how, with VATA7, people kept saying, you can't wirelessly sync LEDs to a motorcycle's brake light, tail light, turn signals, know. And then I'll show you.
Yeah.
Just real quick. I ended up jerry-rigging a 4-channel garage door opener.
That's awesome.
And so this 4-channel garage door opener, can't open it here.
There you go.
Basically, this part went into the backpack, our first generation prototype backpack, and then the clicker part, that you click under your car to open up the garage door, that hooked to the motorcycle lighting system.
Okay.
So from this right here, we were able to make our first video and then get our first investor to really launch VATA7, get our patents started, ordered our first 1,000 backpacks, had high school kids coming in after school, taught them how to solder.
Yeah.
They're testing, we're shipping. And we sold out all of those backpacks within 3 months. No failures, no returns.
Yeah.
And so it was at that point that I was like, I need help.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of packed up the Jeep and a trailer and brought everything back home here where, I've got friends and resources. And
So started with a backpack.
Yeah.
Not the helmet.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But from this here, now we've got this here.
Yeah.
Circuit board. This is the people saying it can't be done.
Uh-huh.
Well, here
There
it is. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool. So saw the guy, like, wish there was some lights. What was the thought of, because I think my mind first goes to like jacket, because everyone's got the motorcycle jackets. That's very common.
Yeah.
Do you guys also make jackets?
That's in the works.
Okay.
When I got back up to Spokane, I hooked up with John Overby. Do you know John Overby?
I've heard the name.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've had the pleasure of meeting, but
Phenomenal human being. And it was just miraculous. I mean, angels that I don't even know how we even met, but I moved back up here and he just appeared. And he said, I got one more spot in my Ignite Northwest class and you need to be in it. And I was like, okay, I had no idea. But in that Ignite Northwest class, he took me from VATA7 LLC to VATA7 C Corp, got all of our financials done. We created a board, an awesome board.
Yeah.
Just pretty much got us set for, getting to a $100 million company or better. And so that was really, a really good time, in VATA7's journey at that point. And so we created the Gen 2 backpack then at that point.
Yeah. So I guess, backpedaling a little bit. So you started with the backpack. Where did you get the manufacturing done to go build these backpacks?
Yeah.
Or did you make kind of a jerry-rigged backpack first in your garage?
We did. Well, the very first prototype,
Yeah.
My son came down to San Diego. He's like, Dad, I had a juice and tea company. He's like, Dad, what is in your idea book that we can, build? And I said, I've been thinking there's a lot of motorcycle riders being killed lately. Maybe we should get VATA7 going. So we redirected the car, went to the motorcycle store, picked up a motorcycle backpack, LGO, and then we drove to the auto store, got some 12-volt LEDs, drove to the hobby store, got low voltage battery and charger system, and basically that's how we kind of built our first prototype.
I love it.
Yeah, and then the first 1,000 Gen 1s. We built out of China, just because we couldn't get manufacturing backpacks done, and can't find sewers in the U.S.
Right.
And I even met, sewers in Mexico, and couldn't find any there either. But in that time, when I moved back up here, I found an incredible sewing manufacturer out of Vietnam.
Okay.
And so they sew all of our backpacks now, and we ship them here, and then our boys put together all the electronics, the circuit boards, all that stuff into the backpacks. We ship them globally from here at VATA7 USA.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. And then prior to COVID,
let's
you
check this
were
thing
talking
out.
about jackets. We thought,
Yeah.
well, what's the next best thing? And so, we thought, well, the helmet really is the top dog.
Right.
And so, again, I, kind of like with all my advisors, COVID hit, and I was just kind of bringing, everything in, and just asked my angels. I don't know, and 3-4 days later, this guy just kept popping up on my LinkedIn, and I'm like, why do I keep seeing this guy? I click on it, read it, and he built 5 helmet manufacturers.
Oh, there you go.
Helmet brands, and so I reached out to him and said, hey. What do you think about our technology? Would this be something good in a helmet? And he came back pretty quick. He's like, Brian, with your technology, we could build the best helmet in the world.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let's set up a meeting, and get us a plan, get us a budget. And he already had a team out of Italy, one of the best teams with helmets and already set up. And and so this helmet, basically built from the ground up. It's
So this is a custom made helmet strictly for you guys. This isn't like some, off the shelf that you guys just outfit with lights.
Yeah, and that was kind of the, when we first talked about helmets, we were talking to some helmet manufacturers, but most helmets, other than two are made in China, and most motorcycle helmets on the market today are 20 and 30 or more years old. Yeah. Every year they just add new colors and new graphics, you know, because it's expensive to build the molds, right, and go through all the testing and everything. Yep. So yeah, we built this helmet from the ground up, and it's basically you can see it here, but then you turn on your there we go. Lights, and you've got now these are half on or normal on right now, so they're half bright. Yeah. And then when you hit the brake light and the turn signals, of course, they illuminate full bright, which is they're pretty bright. Even with the lights here at half bright, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're riding in the dark, which is kind of like target. I mean, obviously you'd go kind of full all the time, lights on, but especially when you're riding at night or you're riding in the dark or dusk, I mean, even at half bright, these are going to stick out.
Yeah. Helmet comes with, we've partnered with Midland Communications. They're U.S. and Italy. And so the helmet comes with premium mic and speakers already installed in it.
Oh, okay. So if I had one and then had a buddy that also had one, we could communicate.
Yeah,
on the
share
road.
Music, talk,
that's awesome.
all that stuff. We've got this is where the communication goes in the back pocket. So you'll see some riders that have
I've seen attachments.
Yeah. But all that catches wind. So we've got an internal pocket.
That's awesome.
For ours. And then we hooked up with Pinlock out of the Netherlands. Okay. And these guys are the best of the best at building anti-fog lenses for for MotoGP and for Formula One and such. So we've done something with our visor here that nobody else has done, and that is you can see there's a reveal that comes all the way around here. Yeah. And that pinlock lens sits inside that reveal. Oh, so it gives you the maximum peripheral vision of any other visor on the market. Huh. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And the ventilation system, you got the front, you got the top, and then the exhaust. Yeah. You got these two, exhaust panels back here. But the cool thing about this is that, we do independent testing for DOT, Department of Transportation stuff. That's why we got the sticker back here, Yeah. A lot of people don't do independent testing. They'll do their own, or they just put a sticker on it and call it good. Yeah. But here is the key of just everything that worked out perfect. Yeah. Is that we use ACT Labs, right? We use ACT Labs in Southern California to independently test our helmets.
Yeah. God, look at that.
Yeah.
This thing's been through the ringer.
So this helmet has been through 6 crash tests and 2 puncture tests. You're looking at a puncture right there, and then one in the back.
Yeah, one in the back too.
Yeah.
And it's still, relatively in good condition.
Well,
even kind of.
The key is
still works.
All the LEDs.
Still works.
Still work. And you can check that out on our Instagram. When I was in Italy, we were testing our first batch of helmets. Yeah. And,
God, look at that.
And this premier motorcycle Formula One safety outfit there in Milan. I set up a camera. They were setting the helmet up, and because it's got to come down pretty fast and crash into some different steel plates and bars and stuff. And I set up my camera, and the guy setting up kind of looked over, and he's speaking Italian to my helmet director, and he's like, what's going on? And I said, well, just let him know that, we want to test the helmet with all the LEDs on, because we want to see when it goes through all the crash tests that the LEDs are still working, because that is the crux of the matter, right?
Right. Yeah. Because if you fall and you crash and your LEDs go out, then
right. You're separated from the motorcycle. Right. That's the reason why we built it in the first place. Right. The guy is 4 lanes from his motorcycle, and they're invisible. Yeah. And the guy goes, oh, those LEDs are not going to stay on. And anyway, you can see it on our Instagram, VATA7. But every time that the helmet just hit the LED stayed on. Yeah. And that was just you know, that was pretty awesome.
I mean, it's a big moment. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, oh God, like maybe he's right. You know, like maybe this is like, it's all going to conk out, but
Right.
yeah, it's all, God, there's so much that goes into this that you don't really realize. I mean, with the vents and with the shape, and it looks like we got carbon fiber on this.
Yeah, carbon fiber
Nice.
with a new aeronautical technology they use for fighter jet helmets. But the other thing that we do that no other helmet does is we have a layer of Kevlar between the outer shell and the inner shell for added protection for the riders.
Well, it's relatively light too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like,
Yeah,
for how
it's
big
one of the
and-
lightest helmets
Yeah.
on the market. Even with all the electronics, the battery,
right.
the
All of it.
you know, everything
Yeah.
in it. So
That's
anyway,
awesome.
so this is pretty awesome. We've got all of our molds finished. Our
Mm-hmm.
factories in Lugano, Switzerland, and Italy. We got
Yeah.
and but we're working with Mark Norton. You know Mark Norton.
Again, heard the name.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've met.
Yeah, I'm sure you have too.
But yeah.
A wonderful human being
Yeah.
here in Spokane, and he's really helping us. We want to maybe move some of this manufacturing over here to the Spokane areas.
Wow.
If we keep continuing to get support,
Yeah.
Get the manufacturing over here, at least for North America markets, Canada, U.S., and Mexico, and such. So
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the
I love
helmet
it.
line there.
That's awesome. How's we've kind of talked about the mission of the company and kind of why you started it. How has the business aspect been? Is the motorcycle market large?
Yes.
Is it, I mean, a lot of people most people drive cars, they see some motorcycles, but I mean, in terms of kind of at scale for the US, what's your market look like?
Yeah. Well, the U.S. is a great starting point, primarily because we know there's distribution. I've already met with Komodo, who owns all the Cycle Gear stores, and they're interested in 2,000 helmets to start. And the market, the market in North America is about 16 million. But when you get to Europe, it's about 80 million.
Yeah, because everyone drives mopeds over there.
Right. Well, and motorcycles. And when you go to, when you go to Lugano or Milan or Florence or anywhere over there, you got your River Park Square parking garage. They just have those for motorcycles.
Yeah.
There, 8 stories, just motorcycles.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then Asia has over 100 million riders. So the top 10 helmet companies in the world today all sell over $100 million worth of helmets.
Wow.
And it's a big market.
Yeah. How often do people switch out their helmets?
Yeah, great question. So a helmet's usually good for about 5 years.
Okay.
And you got to switch it out.
Yeah.
But anytime you drop it,
it goes down a little bit.
every time you drop a helmet, you're supposed to replace it.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I just fumble it and it falls on the floor,
That's the
That's
rule.
dead.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I never know about that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how has business gone? So are you guys primarily, you said starting in the US, but the market is objectively bigger in Europe and then even bigger in Asia.
Yeah.
Are you guys targeting kind of US as a starting point to see kind of how things go and then, expanding to Europe and then Asia, or kind of what's that look like?
Great question. The market in the U.S. is much easier than in Europe. In
Really?
Europe,
Just because of regulation?
Well, because over there, they have 3 middlemen before it hits the store.
Yeah.
Here, we've got 1.
Right.
And, but, our team's over there, and they've got the relationships. And then we were so blessed just like a month ago that we had one of the most renowned helmet experts in the world reach out to us. We sent him a helmet. He dissected that thing, and he said, "Brian, this is the one."
Yeah.
He'd been waiting for over 3 decades to, find what he thinks is the safest helmet in the world.
That's
And
awesome.
he's like, "This is the one." So he's going to help us get into the German market.
Okay.
And he's kind of helping guide us there right now.
That's fantastic.
Because that's the biggest motorcycle market over there.
In Germany, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very cool.
So we're just building those relationships, and the other thing we're doing is we've been invited to Washington D.C. the last 2 years in a row, and meeting with House and Senate members, with the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, NHTSA, the Motorcycle Industry Council, and basically in 1994 you have Congress passed the center high mount stop lamp law, which gives you your 3rd brake light in the car. First year that was passed, it saved over 42% rear end collisions.
Really? Just by adding one?
By adding that higher,
Oh, interesting.
brake light so people could see it much better. imagine motorcycles, really low. But 2 years later, that was passed globally. So now with motorcycle helmets having a tail light that's now 48 inches above the ground, we're looking at, maybe we can be that center high mount stop lamp law for motorcyclists with our technology. So what we did was, we've got some motorcycle brands helmet brands and jackets and clothing brands that have been interested in licensing our technology, especially because we've got a huge jump on our circuit boards going into the motorcycle's lighting system, right?
Could you touch on that a little bit? How does that all work?
Yeah.
To integrate with the motorcycle itself, and then obviously when you pull the brake or you turn, it connects with the helmet. How does that? Yeah. And the backpack too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So you just install a TX unit on, it's just one TX unit per motorcycle, and each one of these wires, one goes to the tail light, one goes to the ground, brake light, and left and right turn signals. Yeah. And there's no cutting or splicing wires. We have posi-tap connectors, just real super easy. But we've got all the, we've done all the hard work. We've done all the wiring diagrams. Yep. So it makes it really easy. I would say that 49 out of 50 riders do it themselves. And then there's that one person that, is going to get an oil change or service and says, hey, can you put this on for me? But yeah, super easy. One TX unit can control unlimited amount of gear. So you could have jackets, boots, backpacks.
Oh, so that one thing is going to connect to not only the helmet, but also the backpack.
Right,
at the same time.
Right. Even if you have a passenger, you both connect your helmets to here.
Oh, okay.
And then we've got our mobile app, I think you might have seen, when you came to VATA7 USA. And that allows the riders to optionally customize their visibility. So if you've got, a passenger and a driver, the driver can shut off their rear LEDs.
Oh, so you're not getting blinded the whole time?
Exactly. The passenger can shut off their front, but both helmets, you can see it on our Instagram, both helmets work in perfect sync with the motorcycle. I mean, it's just magic. Yeah. And there's no lag time between the connection of the motorcycle and our gear.
That's wild.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah. So that's a TX unit. And you just basically, let's say you had 3 motorcycles. You hook a TX unit to all 3, and then you just, press the button for 7 seconds, hit your brake light of the motorcycle you want to ride, and now you're synced up, ready to go. There's no, you don't have to buy a helmet for each motorcycle or, any of that stuff. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome.
That's sweet.
The licensing, so we have now, if, we could do a center mount, stop lamp for other helmet companies and such. So we're basically, when I created the technology, I thought I'd be able to, and I contacted OGO. I had a meeting with them, and that's a great story. In fact, the guy's one of my advisors right now.
That's awesome.
From OGO. Yeah. But when I first showed them this, they're like, hey, we want this technology, know? And with that, we thought, well, let's separate our technology from our gear company, because nobody was really jumping in to say, let's put your technology in our gear. So we had to build the gear to show them what's possible.
Which is crazy, because you would think that would be the most straightforward path to go. Right. Be like, why would we make our, let's just tap into somebody else's, but they weren't interested in that right away.
Yeah, they had other acquisitions going on, or
interesting
stuff like that, and so we thought, well, hey, we can't just be waiting around,
until they decide.
Are only good for whatever. So we just kept moving forward. So now we built an awesome, VATA7 smart LED gear company. So then we separated our technology, called it Brighton. And so now Brighton is its own separate company that we can license to, another helmet company. Yeah. And on the back, instead of it saying, powered by VATA7, it can say powered by Brighton, who isn't one of their competitors, right? So, so this is a really big deal also, pretty exciting. And we've got a couple of helmet companies, that are interested in working with us now. Yeah. But it's exciting. It's exciting because when a rider falls off their motorcycle, they're just getting run over by SUVs
Right.
and semis and, we want to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I know what it does, but could you describe what it does when the radar does fall? You have crash detection and all that, because the lights kind of go crazy when they do fall.
Yeah. So we have an emergency mode, and the lights just start,
going nuts.
Yeah, just kind of blinking and flashing and 360 degrees. So
that's awesome. Have you ever thought about putting it's like Apple Watch, or I'm not sure if mine does it, but they'll have fall detection or crash detection or whatever, and it will automatically call emergency services or whatever.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about putting that into your helmet? I mean, that would kind of be an extra step of like, okay, now you got to worry you get cellular data or like emergency, the I don't know what it was called for the elderly, but they had like that button or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know.
Help me, I fell down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's 2026.
Okay.
That is when the motorcycle and the TX unit senses the motorcycle leaning more than 30 degrees for more than, 15 or 20 seconds. And the mobile app, you're going to be allowed to adjust it. It will send the emergency mode to the gear and make it start flashing.
Yeah.
And then it will notify up to 4 people, and then 911 if you've got it toggled on.
Yep.
Of your location, and with a message that says that you may be in a motorcycle accident. Here's my location.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that'd be it too. Of like, it's great when people can go, but then some people are like, oh my god, like, what do we do? Or like, who is this person? Or all that. So that's like other step. But yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, really great product. I mean, I would imagine, like, have you had any issues with people being like getting people to buy it? Or I would assume once people have it and they get the benefits, you would just go insane.
Honestly, we can't keep them in stock.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, people think that we doctor our 5-star reviews on our website. That's a third-party website thing. We can't edit or delete or any of those are real reviews on there. All 5 stars,
Yeah.
And no, we can't keep them in stock. That's why we're trying to finish our growth round right now, is to get inventory here and to get marketing really rocking and rolling. And we think that within the next 5 years, we could be, top 5 in the helmet.
Yeah.
This helmet is there's nothing on the market like it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, if I had a motorcycle and I had a choice between, something that would potentially save my life and something that's just a normal helmet, worth the extra however much. Oh, I guess that's another question, is like, compared to competitors and helmets, I have no idea what a helmet costs, but where does yours land in terms of price? Yeah.
So a helmet with carbon fiber like this, now there's a company out there called AGV, and they sell a lot of high-end helmets. Now, their helmet is similar with no lighting, but they don't have any cutouts for speakers. They don't have any LED system. They don't come with multiple visors or the pin lock lens and mic and speak, all that stuff. And they sell for about $1,500 a helmet. Yeah. We're at the $899 price. Okay. USD. Yeah. And you have all the stuff. Yeah, and we do that because what's most important to our investors is saving lives. Right. We could charge 15. We could charge more than that. Right. Our guys in Italy want us to charge more money. Like, please do. Yeah. We do motorcycle shows over there, and people they can't believe that we're not over $1,000. Yeah. Yeah. And so we're around $899. The backpack is about $450. But you can get a combo. If you get the combo, you get a discount. Do most people do that? Absolutely. Yeah. So if you're gonna get one, I would assume when people are shopping and they're getting outfitted for all their gear, it's like, okay, if I'm gonna get this, I might as well get this, and then put it together. Yeah, so. And it's really cool. You ride around with the gear, you get people in their cars filming you, taking pictures, giving you thumbs up. Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Because you ride yourself. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I'm assuming you use all the stuff. Oh yeah. Out there. For sure. Yeah. I'm the person in the videos. Yeah. Riding a motorcycle with the gear, filming and stuff. So that's awesome. That's cool. You touched on this a little bit earlier, but what's the thought process of building in Spokane versus, going full time over in Europe or anywhere else you could go? Why choose here? Yeah. Well, Spokane's home. I've been here for most of my life. You got, I went to Meade High School. My kids still live here. Spokane's a great mix of, grit and grace. You know, you've got a really good group of people. You know, it was built on, you know, innovation and creation. You know, creators, innovators, and people just getting it done. And where else can you walk around and still be able to shake hands with people that are getting it done?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when I was in San Diego, there were a lot of wannabe entrepreneurs, you know, and the fact that you guys here at Launchpad, you know, you and you got Bill and Sky, the Coles people, and then Steve Neff has been a really good, you know, person. Like again, Mark Norton helping us around. There's a really good community. You got Kelly Thompson at GU. Yep. You know, with all her students.
Yeah. Have you guys gone through the program with them?
Well, we go when we attend their you know, stuff.
The talent, talent discovery
to see how,
exhibition.
You know, just to support them, the kids, you know, with their ideas and stuff. It's pretty. So I really love, you know, this wasn't around when I was even a lighting designer, you know. So it's really fun to see Spokane getting this technology hub and of innovators and such. And the other thing that's really awesome for your listeners is Spokane has a lot of resources. You know, you've got Prototech and Screen Tech out there at Liberty Lake. I use them to build all my, you know, prototype stuff. You know, I've got a few engineers like Jeff Bendio and stuff that I come up with an idea, like you just saw, probably jet fins, you know, and I can sit down with him, sketch it out on paper, whatever, and he puts it in a 3D machine, and Prototech is 3D printing it, you know, and then we test it, we build a brand, and you know, and the rest is history. But there's so many resources here with Scott Tate at Tate Technologies, with circuit boards, which, you know, we just met with him again a couple weeks ago, bringing our circuit board building from Hungary here to Spokane, and just really giving back to, you know, Spokane. And then, you know, I 95% of my investors are from Spokane.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you know, a lot of classmates from me, some from Shadle Park, and it's really nice to be able to go have dinner with, you know, investors and their families or whatever, and just catch up, and you know, just it's really nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We talk a little bit about mentorship with every guest. I'd like to talk about, you know, people that have helped them, or how mentorship kind of plays a part in their role. You've talked a little bit about some people that have kind of just been right place at the right time, but how has the role of mentorship maybe helped you guys along your journey, or changed the direction you guys were going in, or kind of how it's impacted you in general?
Huge. I mean, again, you know, at every point where I feel like there's going to be some change or need to be some change, I just bring everything in. And I've just learned how to ask the angels. You know, I'm going to just give it back to the angels, I'm telling you, because the angels keep dropping those people in, you know, in my now at that right time, you know, from John Overby to my helmet, you know, builder, to, you know, just to everybody that has really come in. I mean, without them, we wouldn't be really where we're at right now. You know, I mean, again, John Overby was just a huge, you know, part of that at the beginning, and just really built that foundation for us to grow much bigger, and just be legit with the board and, you know, all that stuff. And it just makes it more fun. You know, every board meeting is just, it's fun. I mean, you know, sales are good, and things are getting done, and the reviews are coming in, and then we got this helmet expert in Europe taking off, and it's just a lot of fun. But yeah, mentors are good, and it's now good to give back too, because now, you know, we've created Brain Gravy. You know, which
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So it's basically changing the R and the A and the I around in Brian, and the R and the A around in Garvey, the Brain Gravy, and it all came about. I mean, it's been an idea of mine for a long time, but I have an investor who is a NASA engineer, and he's got an idea for an engine that he's building right now. We're building right now, and but he's, you know, I mean, he's just, he's one of those brilliant minds, you know, but he doesn't know how to build a brand. He doesn't know how to do IP. He doesn't have to know how to go through the grant process and all that stuff. So we met, and he's like, hey, you know, can you help me with this? And so that's kind of how I decided, well, let's launch Brain Gravy now. So we're building Ecogens. It's ECOGINES. Okay. We've got a landing page now, ecogens.com. And basically, I've created the story landing page, you know, the IP started, the grant process started. I built the logo, you know, all that stuff. And we're starting out with the engine for semi-trucks.
Okay.
And so a typical semi-truck right now gets 4 to 6 miles per gallon.
That's it?
This engine will get 20 or more miles per gallon.
Yeah.
And the key is that, you know, really in the last few years, they've been pushing battery, you know, electric. But what's happened with semi-trucks is that they, you know, and they had to mandate these things, you know, they had to, you know, companies have had to buy like, you know, 2 or 3 semi-trucks a year with the batteries and everything, but they just park them because they're so heavy that they bring less supplies, you know, over from the coast to Spokane and such. And quite frankly, all those batteries are pretty dangerous in the first place. So
yeah, I'd imagine when you get them that big, some issues that could arise.
Yeah, so we're really excited about you know, Ecogens, and then from the semi-truck we'll move into the marine world, and yeah, we've got some other plans for that and stuff. But it's basically like, you know, what we were talking about is helping anybody else who has an idea. We get people all the time say, oh, I had an idea once, you know, and they don't know what to do with it. Well, if our, you know, kind of thing is, if it's something that'll bring light to the world, you know, help humanity, animals, whatever, we'll help you bring that idea and get it to the Shark Tank stage. We call it Shark Tank stage because, you know, at that point you can either sell it, you know, or, you know, we use Mark Norton or someone to help create the manufacturing, go through that whole process. But it's all the stuff that I've learned with creating VATA7, you know, from our legal teams, Foster Garvey or Leon Hayes and, you know, such, and, you know, our engineers and Prototech and Screen Tech and Mike Marzetta, you know, is pretty magical out there. And just really building a prototype like jet fins, you know. I was in the pool, you know, I swim most every day. And I saw these 2 swimmers, you know, and I could tell that they were special forces. And so I was, you know, I got done swimming. I'm just sitting in the corner of the pool, and I see them get out of the water, and they've got rocket fins, you know, what I wore 40 years ago. And I thought, what the heck, you know, 40 years, there's got to be a technology or something.
Yeah, using the same thing.
Boom, you know, download, you know. And I jumped out of the pool, went home, researched, and within 2 months, we had the prototypes built for jet fins, you know, which, you know, if viewers don't know, it's basically a small fin on each foot that has propulsion and a wireless remote. And we can go from, you know, 0 to 15 miles per hour in the water. And we tested them out at the lake this summer.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was actually pushing a boat, you know.
That's crazy.
With these things. But it was, you know, and you don't have to go that fast. But rocket fins will get you, you know, 1 to 1.5 miles per hour. The handheld scooter, they call them. Yeah. Those big bulky things will get you 4 to 6 miles an hour.
Okay. And 15. Must feel like you're flying.
Right. You know? But and it's, you know, it's you can set the limit too. Yeah. And we're creating a mobile app for the. Right now we're going after grants for the Navy SEALs and swimmers and divers and stuff. It's kind of our main focus, but we've got a commercial side too that down the road we'll build, and we've got a mobile app design that, you know, you can. Because you also have reverse. Let's say that you go into some coral or a boat or something, you know, a wreck, and you don't have to like turn around to get out. You know, you can just hit reverse and zip out of there. Yeah. But then, you know, the mobile app can limit your depth, or because you can go 500 feet with the jet fins.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Limit the speed, limit the range. Yeah. Yeah, just so many things you can do with electronics, you know. Yeah. But you can vision it. It can be done, I promise you.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You touched on it a little bit at the beginning. What's this juice company. Do you still have it? Is it still, or is that gone?
No. I mean, it's still there.
Yeah.
When I want to start it up.
Yeah.
And, but no, I basically, it's a crazy story. When my parents passed away, and I just packed up my car and went back down to San Diego. I was, like I said, I did a pilot for Bravo TV. Mm-hmm. And after that pilot, construction in San Diego was just dead. There was no cranes in San Diego. People weren't hiring for designers, lighting designers, engineering, anything. And at the same time, what was that? The restrictions on, who you could hire back then, affirmative action. So it was really tough for me to get a job in California at the time, right? So, and it's expensive to live there. So what ended up happening was I lived in my car for 2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
What was that like?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. I had a 66 Mustang.
That's a small car too.
Right,
That's not like I had a truck or something.
So and the good thing is I had some connections, a little bit or whatever.
Yeah.
And I found a spot in Encinitas on Highway 101 that every night I'd pull in the same spot. So, if the police or anybody went by, they just recognized that car, probably being, from one of the houses because it parked in that same spot every night. So, but I overlooked the ocean. I pulled my passenger seat back, all the way back, my driver's seat all the way up. Yeah. And then my feet were on the, front passenger floor. My head was, behind the driver's seat with some pillows, because you have those deep wells there. And then I had this just awesome REI sleeping bag that I actually really enjoyed.
You actually wasn't that bad.
I actually was excited to get into that thing every night.
That's awesome.
But the fun thing was that, not that it was fun, but what I did was I had a storage unit. I had an LA Fitness membership. Yeah. And then I had a commercial kitchen that I rented.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So in the morning, I'd wake up, I'd go to LA Fitness, swim, shower, drive to my storage unit. Yep. I would trade my bedding for my juice making stuff, blenders and everything, Vitamix. I would drive to the commercial kitchen, build all my juice, teas and such. And then I would drive, back to the storage unit, trade that stuff for my farmer's market stuff, tables, tents, and a Mustang. Fill that thing up, tables, tent, 2 tables, and
That's crazy.
tent and everything. And then I'd go to the farmer's market, 5 to 7 days a week.
Oh my gosh.
And it just became super popular, but I was just saving money. And then in my spare time, right up the street was the Encinitas Library, overlooked the ocean, almost beautiful libraries. Yeah. And I would go there and research, VATA7, how I was going to build. I would put my name down and get the big conference room with the dry erase board. Doing all the board work and how I was going to build VATA7. And
for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was, and then at night I just pull right in, right about the sunset.
And repeat.
Dolphins.
That's phenomenal. See, that's what people, I feel like they look at you now and you're like, God, look at this guy. He's so successful. He's building helmets out of nothing, doing crazy. And that's the stuff they don't know. Yeah. It's 2 years. 3 people think, 2 years, it's not that long. Oh, try staying in your car for 2 years. Yeah. I mean, that's what it takes though. Sometimes,
absolutely,
right? Yeah. It's a grind.
Definitely.
That's awesome though. That's fantastic.
That was a magical moment.
That's killer.
That was getting to know the angels on a one-on-one basis.
I bet. Yeah. Oh my God. Nightly. Did you ever have, when you're sitting there and you got, it seems like a pretty fluid system of do this and do this and do this and do that. Was there ever a moment when you're in there and you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
What am I doing?
Hey, there were days where I was crying in my car, where you're just and you're just like, man, is this,
is this it?
Yeah. Is it gonna get better? And you just know that you just keep going and keep going and then, I was able to save up enough money and rent a room from one of my juice customers, became my first investor. I had the garage, to build VATA7 and start everything. It's just, pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
And what happened, I'll just share this with you real quick. What happened was, what got me out of that car situation was, it was about midnight, parked in my spot, and I woke up just out of thin air. I just woke up, and as I sat up, I saw this crowbar coming towards my driver's side window.
Oh my God.
Right? So I reached for my door opener, and as the crowbar came through my window, I grabbed the crowbar and pulled the guy, opened up the door, hit him with it, right? He yanks the crowbar, and I slid out on my knees and all this broken glass. Cut my jeans and knees and everything. And I went run after him. Well, they jumped in a truck. There was 3 of them.
Yeah.
Jumped in a truck that was just already running and everything. And the next morning, I went to one of my friend's house because I thought they were a nurse. I said, "Hey, is there any way we can bandage these?
Do something with this?" Yeah.
And they're like, "No, we need to get you an emergency room." And so it was at that point they're like, "Hey, why don't you rent a room for me?"
Oh my gosh. That is insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Pretty funny story. I got all sorts of stories.
That's phenomenal. Oh my God. That's one of the best ones I've heard. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, anything else? Anything else you want to share? Where can people find you? Where can they check out these helmets? Keep updated on what you're doing and what you're working on?
Yeah, VATA7 USA. We've got, or VATA7.com. We've got VATA7 USA here in Spokane, VATA7 Europe in Lugano, Switzerland, Italy, and then VATA7 Asia and Hong Kong. So we're getting ready up, to get in all those markets. And then Brain-Gravy, if you want to kind of check out some of the projects that we have.
Yeah, brain-gravy.com.
Yep, brain-gravy.com. And you can see some of the projects we've got. Not all of them are in there. But,
and can people pitch on there, send you an email, and be like, this is what I'm thinking, and maybe yes or no?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And I just got to say, I just appreciate you, again, and Sky and Nicole's, and just everybody doing your part in helping people bring great things to the world and helping humanity and animals and such. So.
Well, this is pretty amazing. So thank you. Yeah. And I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Thanks, Blake.